to start. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Sergio Panzon. I am the Director of Communications for the City of Huntington Park. And I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We have convened this press conference to share important news with the public regarding the launch of HP Review or HP Contigo. This is a comprehensive new city-led initiative providing legal aid, emergency food access, multilingual community messaging, and senior staff training to support immigrant and mixed status families amid growing fear of immigration enforcement activity. So before we begin, let me walk you through the structure of today's briefing, and let me introduce you who the speakers are going to be. So we're going to have the Huntington Park Mayor Arturo Flores, the Huntington Park Vice Mayor Eddie Martinez, Huntington Park Council Member Karina Macias, Huntington Park Council Member Jonathan Sanabria, and then we're going to have California Assembly Member Jose Solachi. The speakers are going to be available for individual interviews after the press conference. So at this time, I would like to introduce the Mayor of the City of Huntington Park, Arturo Flores.
Thank you, Sergio. Appreciate the introduction. Good afternoon. I want to first start off by thanking everybody for joining us today. My name is Arturo Flores. I'm the mayor of the city of Huntington Park. As you guys all have seen today, we have seen an uptick in activity and enforcement activity, in particular across the Seda region. We're joining here today to announce this initiative, the Huntington Park for HP with You, or HP Contigo. This initiative is going to aim to provide much needed support to some of our community members. It will include legal help, legal defense assistance. But most importantly, I want to talk about food. Our community historically has been a food desert. And some of the actions that are being taken now against American citizens, U.S. born, I'll give you an example. We have a family that lives in Huntington Park that a few days ago got their door blown off over a fender bender that happened last week in Belleville. This family is now living in fear. This family is afraid to go out and buy groceries. This family is afraid to go out and just live everyday life. They live in fear of retaliation, and it is something that we cannot accept as leaders, and we cannot accept it as a community, or as Americans. That's why it's important that we respond as a city. We will be allowing support services for emergency food distribution. So we ask that you share this information. Any families out there that are in fear or need assistance with food, please go to hpcontigo.org or hpwiki.org or call 323-383-7654. Once again, it's 323-383-7654. It's important that we continue to unite. This afternoon, the President of the United States did a press conference where they were celebrating the passage of the bill, right? This bill included $8 billion in additional funding that's going to be going towards these immigration enforcement agencies. They're aiming to hire an additional 10,000 agents to enforce these policies. So rest assured that the region and as well as the state of Huntington Park is preparing for these operations to increase in number, but not only in frequency, but also to increase in violence. And so we want to ask our community members to be careful, remain calm, understand your rights, your constitutional rights, and make sure that you exercise those rights, but do so calmly. With that being said, I'd like to call up now Vice Mayor Eddie Martinez with a few remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I went to begin by honoring the courage of my colleagues on the council and our allies across the Southeast region who have stood tall and fought for immigrant families. I want to thank the nonprofits who, through initiatives like Select Cares, have become a lifeline, proving what community truly means with a recent drive at New Start Housing. In that same spirit, we're launching HD with you to send a clear message. We stand in unwavering solidarity with every resident of this community. As 4th of July approaches, we hear a lot of talk about American values, but let's be clear. There are those who wave flag while preaching the gospel of exclusion. Then there are those who understand that true American values demand something greater from us. To those who insist this is solely a Christian nation, I say, read your own book. It teaches when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. Love them as yourself. It's not just a Christian principle. It's a human principle. This nation belongs to people of all faith, all beliefs, and to the indigenous people we hear long before any of our ancestors arrived. To those who lecture us about family values, we agree family is a sanctuary. But what kind of family values is to rip a mother from her child's arms? What kind of family value is to seize a father at his job? What kind of family value is to deport a grandparent selling ice cream to support the very family they anchor? Do not dare call family separation a family value. It is an act of state-sponsored cruelty. To those who talk of a strong economy, you cannot build prosperity on the foundation of fear. When you terrorize workers, you shut up businesses. When you intimidate residents, you cripple commerce. When a mother and activist like Erie from South LA is abducted from an unmarked vehicle on the way to work, that is not law and order. That is an attack on the economic heartbeat of our community. And to those who confuse patriotism with armed raids that force us to cancel Independence Day celebration, I say this. True patriotism is the sound of children laughing together in our public park. It's a vibrancy of our shared culture. It's the unity and joy of people who call this land home. So if you claim faith while ignoring its call for compassion, if you praise family while tearing families apart, and you love for your country by making people live in fear, then the America you believe is not the America we are fighting for. This 4th of July, let's reclaim our nation's promise. Let's choose compassion over cruelty, unity over division, and prove that liberty and justice for all is not just a pledge, but our purpose. Now I'd like to invite up Councilwoman Karina Macias.
Father, don't worry about that. Those.
Buenos días, concejal de la bella ciudad de Huntington Park. Quiero dar gracias a todas las organizaciones que van a estar con la ciudad para proveer este servicio muy necesitado por la comunidad. Hemos visto que muchas de nuestras familias están siendo afectadas por estas redadas injustas y verdaderamente inconstitucionales contra la comunidad. Así que de mi parte quiero dar las gracias a todas las organizaciones que están aquí presentes, que van a dar este servicio muy necesitado. Te quiero dar gracias a New Start Housing, que ha sido un buen compañero en todo esto, de darnos aquí el espacio para seguir proveyendo servicios. La verdad, hay muchas organizaciones que no están aquí presentes, que han dado mucho de su parte en estos días, que nos ha dado tiempo a las ciudades de ver qué es lo que podemos proveer a nuestras comunidades. I want to thank all the organizations that are here that will provide this important initiative for our communities. I want to thank many organizations that are not here today that have been providing a lot of support for our families, that has given us time for us as cities to figure out how much more we can help the communities. This is a crucial time where the reality is that communities are helping each want to thank all of you for being here present, and I'm very happy to support this initiative, and I'll continue to do my work as well with the community. And with that, I'll provide the mic to Councilmember Hernandez.
Good afternoon, I'm Nancy Martinez. I've been here as council member here in Huntington Park. And I just also wanted to take a minute to thank everybody for not just being here, but for supporting all this behind the scenes. Everything that you're seeing from the food, the groceries, the products, the deliveries of toilet paper at home, it's necessary. So we are just doing the bare minimum necessary right now by our community members to be able to stay at home. This is very different than COVID. Back in COVID, we had a lot of resources, but something that we know how to do really well in Southeast LA is pull together. And growing up in Southeast LA, you learn to meet your neighbors, you learn to talk to each other, you learn to find resources, and that's something that we're really good at, and I hope that our residents will see the value that we can provide in keeping them safe and at home during a time when it's dangerous to be out in the streets. En español quiero decir que agradezco mucho a todos los residentes, a todos los invitados que están aquí y más que nada agradezco a la comunidad, porque algo que aprendimos hace muchos años durante COVID es que nuestra comunidad es muy conectada. Nosotros en nuestra comunidad no nos morimos de hambre, no nos vamos a dejar a estar solos, estamos juntos. Y todo lo que ven aquí es un esfuerzo comunitario, no es ninguna persona, es toda una comunidad que ha juntado sus recursos para poder asegurarnos que nuestros residentes estén seguros y en casa. Está peligroso ahorita las calles, podemos salir a comprar leche y no regresar a casa. Y esto es una manera que nos vamos a asegurar que nuestros residentes, nuestros niños puedan estar seguros y les vamos a proveer lo que necesitan mientras que estamos terminando o viviendo esta época de terror en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias. Quiero introducir al asambleísta José Cristo Solache.
No en mi distrito. As a son of immigrants, I stand with Huntington Park and our immigrant families in saying intimidation, fear, and accountable enforcement tactics have no place in our communities. Hoy, como hijo de padres inmigrantes, estoy aquí uniéndome a la ciudad de Huntington Park, al alcalde y a los concejales, diciendo que la intimidación, el miedo no tienen ningún lugar en sus comunidades, especialmente aquí en nuestro distrito. Community safety starts with trust. That's why I'm proud to support HP with you, HP Contigo, an urgent, compassionate, and concrete response that centers legal aid, food access, and multilingual outreach to support mixed status and immigrant families. Government should be the shield, not the sword. I just flew in from Sacramento on the first flight at 2 o'clock, and I flew here because I wanted to make sure, as a state representative that represents Huntington Park in this district, I was going to come and support my community, our district, and I would commend the leadership of Mayor Flores, council members, the city manager, and the chief of police. Because together, we're going to be stronger for our communities. Our community is lacking trust right now. It's really difficult. As someone that supports law enforcement, this is a difficult situation for law enforcement and our officers that are protecting our communities. These fake agents, these impersonators, have no place in our communities. While some leaders at the federal level sow fear and uncertainty, communities across the nation like Huntington Park are showing true leadership rooted in the dignity and compassion. I commend the city again for that. That is what us working together looks like. $150,000 in emergency support is more than a budget line. It's a statement of values, and for value, and shared values is what we keep guiding of how we get through this together. El presupuesto de $150,000 no nomás es un número, es nuestros valores como californianos, como residentes de Huntington Park y del sureste. Juntos vamos a ser una voz para nuestras comunidades, nuestro país fue fundado por inmigrantes. Our country was founded by immigrants, and together we're going to continue being the voice of our community. I am proud to say that my parents immigrated to this country under the Ronald Reagan amnesty program. Then they were able to learn the language and learn the lessons to become U.S. citizens, naturalized U.S. citizens. I am proud of my parents for having that American dream. And because of that, today I join leaders like Huntington Park leaders and myself that are living that American dream. But we work hard. No one gave it to us. We work so hard, and that's what this country gives you. The prosperity to be able to dream and live a beautiful American dream. But it was founded amongst so much great community. So today, I commend again the city. We're going to work together to ensure that our immigrant community, and yes, those that are undocumented as well, have a voice in us as their leaders. And again, as a state representative of this city and this district, I stand united with Huntington Park to make sure that we continue being a voice for everyone. We are humans before anything else. I'm a person of faith, and my God loves everyone. Soy una persona de fe, y mi Dios quiere a todos. A God that believes in us, that gives us strength every single day. So I pray for Huntington Park, and I pray for our country, that together we're going to continue advocating for what's right. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Gracias.
Sir, identify yourself.
Sure. Jose Luis Lache, State Representative, State Assembly Member for the 62nd Assembly District. Gracias.
Thank you. I want to share some information about HP with you. In Espanol, it's HP Conmigo. Residents can call 323-383-7654. You'll be connected to legal resources. If you need food, you'll have food delivery sent at home. Everything is anonymous, and what we don't want is we do not want families and children to go hungry. And if you have a legal case, we want to make sure that you have access to legal representation, and that you also have access to know your rights information, whether you're a child, an elder, a family, or a small business. Please reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you. En español, quiero que los residentes puedan llamar al 323-383-7654. Esa línea está abierta si usted necesita recursos legales, si necesita leche, huevos, lo que sea. Usted nos llama, nosotros queremos asegurarnos que usted esté seguro en casa. No hay razón por cual tener hambre ahorita. Llámenos, todo está en confianza, y lo único que queremos asegurarnos es que ustedes tengan la seguridad y los recursos que ocupan durante este tiempo. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Quiero agradecerle al asambleísta José Luis Olache, que apenas acaba de llegar de Sacramento en un vuelo y llegó directamente aquí a la ciudad. Es un gran honor tenerlo presente. Como estábamos diciendo temprano, la ciudad de Huntington Park está haciendo una iniciativa donde vamos a alocar $150,000 para apoyar a nuestra comunidad. El dinero, los fondos se van a usar para tres cosas. La primera cosa va a ser una campaña de educación a los derechos constitucionales que tienen nuestros residentes. La segunda va a ser una campaña de despensas para las personas que tienen miedo y no quieren salir de casa. No nomás estamos hablando de gente indocumentada, estamos hablando de americanos, gente que son ciudadanos, que son nacidos aquí. Y la tercera razón va a ser para ayuda legal. La realidad es que hoy la administración pasó fondos de $8,000 millones, y sobre los próximos 5 años van a atraer o van a agarrar 10,000 agentes más de migración. Entonces nosotros como ciudad y como una región estamos preparándonos que las operaciones van a seguir subiendo el número, y no nomás van a seguir subiendo el número, se van a convertir más violentos y van a causar más daño a la comunidad. Entonces nosotros nos estamos preparando. La ciudad de Huntington Park no se va a quedar con las manos cruzadas. El próximo lunes vamos a hacer nuestra segunda leyenda para hacer nuestra ciudad en una ciudad de santuario. Entonces, ustedes se imaginan, nuestra ciudad con nuestra población no éramos ciudad de santuario, pero ahora con lo que está pasando no nos queda ninguna otra opción que convertirnos en una ciudad de santuario para tratar de proteger a nuestros residentes. It's unfortunate that we have to start taking these steps, but today the Trump administration passed an $8 billion or budget that includes $8 billion in additional funding to immigration agencies. They're going to hire 10,000 more immigration agents. So we expect operations to not only increase the number, but also Monday, we'll be doing our second reading that will officially make and designate Huntington Park, the city of Huntington Park, as a sanctuary city. I want to thank you guys and all the parties that came out here. I want to thank New Start Housing. I want to thank, in particular, the community advocates that are not standing in front of a camera giving a speech. The ones who are out there informing our community where there's a potential danger. And in particular, in our city, our Run Club has become a de facto community engagement, community outreach entity. So we want to make sure that we give a shout out and acknowledgement to the Huntington Park Run Club. The city's here to support you guys in any way that we can, and to also the neighborhood watch groups who have also become de facto community, reporting and community safety organizations. We understand that law enforcement is limited in what we can do, but what we're seeing in Huntington Park is the community step up. What we're seeing is a community unite. And the strength of our community can overcome one of the darkest moments, and we are living in one of the dark moments in the history of the United States. So thank you guys for being here, and God bless you all. They're going to be, my colleagues will be here, they'll be available for interviews afterwards.
I have a couple of questions you could probably do for, probably solve a lot of that.
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, on HB review, how much is the city of Huntington Park putting in the way of discretionary funds? What do you figure the total budget is for the program, at least, let's just say the next 6 months?
The initial funding for the program is $150,000.
From the city of Huntington Park?
Correct.
Now, what about other agencies? How much have they pledged? Do we know?
As of now, we have not had pledges from other agencies, but this is a call for any other agencies that want to partner up with the city of Huntington Park. We're here, and we're open to coalition building and collaborating.
Once you've got these assets and resources available, are you going to ask people, are you from Huntington Park, before you start to make these things available for them? Otherwise, you're going to, it's like...
So the services we're talking about will be Huntington Park addresses. But information regarding their documentation status or anything like that is be very minimal, and we're not going to have databases. We're not going to be doing that for the protection of our residents.
Advice to your residents. It's one thing when they're coming in or getting food or anything else like this, but are you going to do some preemptive work to tell them, especially in a mixed person?
So the food will be delivered.
Well, the food will be delivered, all right. And then they can either come or pick it up, and there we go. When it comes to the idea of mixed households, we have a problem there with people who are legal versus those who are not. Are you going to ask those people, do you foresee a problem in your household? And if they say yes, are you then going to be able to start pushing legal aid in your direction and advise them better to do it now?
So the legal aid is reactive, right? The legal aid is reactive. It's once somebody has had an engagement or is dealing with a detainment or somebody that gets picked up, it's reactive. Remember, the first part of it is educational, constitutional education on your rights. First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, right to remain silent, right to, be protected from illegal search and seizure, that kind of stuff. The legal help comes when someone is already engaging with our residents, and the city is already engaging with the detainment.
Would it also be better in some ways if these people know potentially the problems exist, proactively tell you? I may have an issue here, which point you can say, thanks for telling us, we're going to direct you to a legal firm or whatever on this one to get ahead of it, rather than the knock is on the door and the papers.
That's a strategy that we're willing to consider.
You have firms that are legal firms that are going to be able to assist you on that?
We do have some firms that we're engaging with already that are already actively in the region helping out the system.
They told you how many people they might have available to help, 5, 10, 15?
No, we don't have a number on that.
You're working.
Yes.
Thanks.
Any other questions that we have? Okay, so like I said, my colleagues